Now, there's been a notable reduction in the disruption of construction projects in South Africa over the last few weeks. Now, according to CEO of the South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors, Webster Mfebe, more than 400 construction projects valued at 51.1 billion rand were between 2018 and 2022. Mfebe says the decline in disruptions is due to the Delangokubona Business Forum becoming a legal entity and part of the Black Business Forum. To tell us more about this, I'm now joined by the CEO of the South African Forum of Civil Engineers. Mr. Webster, thank you very much for your time this morning. Now, this latest report suggests indeed there has been a significant reduction in those disruptions. What do you honestly attribute this reduction to?
Well, indeed, there has been a reduction. I attribute this to a number of factors. One, the fact that we embarked on a constructive engagement strategy with the business forums, and which culminated in them transforming into a legal entity, which is an overall structure of business forums called the Black Business Federation, BBF, and they have indeed been assisting us in terms of preventing disruptions on site. Where disruptions do occur on site, we call on them to intervene, and you'll find that in most cases, it's not their members, it's the proliferation of competing business forums that compete for that space ever since they have become legal, and they do indeed stop those incidents. Mm-hmm. And this has been, proven by some successes in the change of conduct from unorthodox methods into operating within the law. And there are examples that I can give in this regard.
Mm-hmm. Just for context and the benefit of those who might not be particularly familiar with this organization, you're talking about Delangokubona. Can you just give us context when you say they were an illegal entity? Talk to us about those unorthodox methods that they used to employ.
Well, they used to embark on site disruption. Some of the members, not only Delangokubona and other business forums, there are many of them. They used to come on site with guns, demanding to be part of the project, failing which then they demand 30% of the project, which is the modus operandi across all business forums now and at the time. And having engaged with them and having seen the way that their struggles will be supported and authentic if they work within the law, and they have since, not only the Delangokubona and others, formed this Black Business Federation, which is operating within the law, and we are happy with the reduction in the incidents that we have seen over the 5-year period that we have been observing.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about what motivated the formation of some of these entities here, the merits? They were basically concerned or putting forward what some would term an unrefined type of call for economic inclusion, if I could call it that it was a form of transformation that they were calling for, to say, within the construction industry, we're not included. We're young businesses. We operate in certain areas, be it Umlazi, but you would find a contractor coming from elsewhere in the country, competent, yes, but somehow there could be places where they could include us, be it in supplying products or perhaps hiring general workers from the particular location. Was that the message that they were trying to put across, even though it wasn't so eloquently done or put across?
Yeah, well, this happens in two ways, and I think we must address those. First, the clamor and the outcry of communities and community-based organizations to be part of the project, part of the economic case, is a genuine concern which must be taken seriously and addressed. But there's a second aspect to it, which is the business forums, those people who engage in illegal activities of extortion and seeking bribes and intimidation, which then requires the full might of the law to deal with that, But you cannot just throw the book of law at everyone without throwing a book of opportunities. Indeed, the call for their participation, especially local enterprises and employment of local people, is a genuine concern that must be supported by all. But what cannot be condoned is the use of violence to achieve those ends, which is what we have been discussing with them. And they have indeed listened to that to an extent that it has spread even beyond the construction in terms of involvement of communities. For example, in one of the malls in KZN, the community have shares, and the community members are part of the trustees that sat in that trust of that mall. And these are the types of successes that we want to see, which is why we encourage our members and non-members and all those who are participating in the construction sector and other businesses to take the genuine concerns of communities. But we cannot defeat this alone. There are positive factors that bear on this type of behavior. The socio-economic environment in this country, the fact that 65.5% of the youth are unemployed in the latest statistics that have been shown. If you look at the demographic profile of those who invade these sites, they are the youth. If you look at the fact that the construction, even in the last quarter, lost 25,000 jobs. If you look at the fact that the World Bank itself released a report in March, which says South Africa is the most unequal society in the world, where 10% own over 80% of the wealth in the country. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that those who feel the pinch and the tight grip of unemployment, inequality and unemployment are the black people in majority and the youth in particular. If we do not address the question of youth unemployment, this is a ticking time bomb for this country, for the unrest. Not only that, it poses state security in that there's a proliferation of illicit guns which are used by these young people in demanding involvement in the construction sites and other businesses. This has to be addressed collectively by all stakeholders, but the government still has the constitutional responsibility of maintaining law and order, whilst we as contractors and other businesses have a core responsibility of ensuring that there is genuine and fair economic participation by all in our country.
No, it sounds like you have a grip on this problem now because you've decided to engage them and just show them the way or manner in which to agitate for change in this particular industry and the economy as a whole. Thank you very much for your insights. That was Webster Mfebe, CEO of the South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors.